Hello. I just accidentally exited out of Roll20. I did not mean to do that. But that's okay. We can still begin. My name's Tom, and you guys are listening to Consortium Interregnum. You guys ready? I was ready a second ago.
I mean, we're ready as we'll ever be.
Oh, that doesn't... Do you remember what happened last time?
We met some funky little dudes who gave us their little trinkets.
Yep.
George got infected with crystal virus thing.
Get closer to your mic, Austin.
George got infected with a crystal virus thing. I'm trying to remember what happened to the other two guys.
I tried really hard and got sort of a great gift for anyone but me. Lunu is now strong and slightly rude.
Dude, attitude.
He will not give his wheel and woe bonus to anyone, because that would be in character now.
That's creepy.
That's what my character would do.
I will not support you because that's what my character would do. Lets my family die in the hospital. It's what my character.
Look, it just said you had a slight urge to bully people. Alright? You're like, I'm evil now.
This is the evil Lunu arc.
I'm no longer a socialist. Where I'm now a capitalist.
Yes.
Man.
Lunu loves the exploitation of the working class. It's his favorite.
Do you remember how the game ended?
We got to...
Two guys.
Yeah, we met the
What?
leaders of this place. After
And
dealing
what?
with an imp who was not the best interaction. But we met the leaders, which was a Curran, and I'm forgetting the other one because it was late and my brain was fried.
Yeah, it was one of those, they got a couple of different names. One of them is really hard to pronounce, like Ineris, hold on, just tell me. Arenes? But they're more commonly just referred to as Furies.
Okay. Oh yeah, now I remember those. So they have like a snake body?
No.
No?
They're like fallen angels.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
literally succubi but modest.
Well, it depends on which edition that you're in.
Yeah.
They're in 5th edition, and what this one is kind of more looking like is they're far more like militant. In fact, actually, probably to expand on the lore, because in this world, hell is divided up between multiple powerful demons. These would probably be ones that could be found in many different camps, and they probably act more like enforcers for them. So they probably wouldn't all be localized to one. Each one probably has a couple of them that they send out to do almost like being like mercenaries. But not this one. This one is co-mayor, councilwoman of this town. And then there's also a Kieran, which is like a dragon dog horse thing.
Dragon horse from the beer.
From the beer?
Yeah,
Wait, sorry,
there's a beer brand called Curran,
Oh.
based off the creature.
Well,
Do they have
I
to
think
do it, or the
I think it's
leader-
supposed to be like a stag rather than a horse. Now that I'm
Yeah.
reading, but same thing.
Yeah, in older editions of D&D, they were called the Dragon Horse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Pathfinder, that's what they're called.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which just steals like first edition Pathfinder. The one that was wholesale, just D&D, but with refined rules.
And they were a big thing in one of the more recent Harry Potter movies. And I think that one kind of looked more like a horse, too.
Yeah, I just think of the Kieran from Monster Hunter, which is like a dragon horse. But you were saying, they had a Kieran, or they had one of the leaders was like was a Kieran, like some kind
The leader was a Kieran.
Yeah,
he's a regular
two creatures have shown up when he says that you're going to be introduced to the council members. One is a Kieran, and the other is the Fury.
And the Fury was the fallen angel.
Yes.
Okay.
I will put pictures on here. These are just the D&D pictures for these characters.
There's Kieran.
And then let me bring up this one. I will say that the Fury is not as heavily armored. They're in more like they're dressed more like they're like a council member than a frontline soldier.
So more like rogues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were the main species of the regular citizens of this island?
You have not gone through the door. They came out to meet you, so you're still outside.
Okay.
Cinna yesterday did look through, and he did see what appeared to be normal humanoids working in farms.
Okay.
We were told that these were like leftover angels and demons who were working on behalf of the villain of Outcast Song, but have since, because that guy's fucking dead. They're like, well, I guess we could run a town now.
So, for those of you who are not familiar with what happened in Outcast Song, the main villain caused multiple demons and angels to appear randomly all over the world and just start attacking people. The imp, based off of your guys' conversation with him earlier, alluded to the fact that they showed up in the middle of the Ormos jungle, and instead of attacking towns, now we're fighting dinosaurs and other terrible monsters. And now that their source of power is gone, some of them were left behind, and they have formed a town to work together to not die.
Fair.
But we can begin. So where we left off, they had just walked out. The Fury has a clipboard and a pen, and she looks all of you guys up and down. She pauses for a moment on our pigeon friend, and upon looking at him, she starts writing something on her clipboard. She hasn't said anything to you yet. She looks to you, Cinna, and she doesn't write anything down. She looks to you. She looks to Lunu, doesn't write anything down. She looks to Basil. She kind of frowns a little bit and writes something down. She turns to Blair. She doesn't write anything down. She looks at George and she writes something down. And then she looks to the remainder of the people in the party and same thing, doesn't write anything. So she looks up and she says, are any of you lycanthropes?
No, just druid. Lunu tries to keep in the word bitch from coming out of his mouth.
She says, are any of you possessed?
No.
Not as far as I know.
Yeah.
She looks to the Kieran, and says, well, we've never had a mixed bag before. How should we handle this? And the Kieran says, well, we were told that these are important people. Perhaps we should consider some exceptions. And the Fury kind of scowls and looks back to you and says, so I'm told you're important people. Explain yourselves.
Well, we're from the mainland, right? Like the area right outside of this other side of the river. And we were hoping to see if we could, like, make contact with the settlement here.
She says,
weren't we told that this place was empty out of character?
No, in character you were told that it was generally empty and that it was that a town had been created, and that anytime towns in the past have been created, they've been wiped out. But there was a town with settlers there. So you were told that you were expecting to find locals. You just didn't have any information because anytime anybody came up, they were immediately turned away. You guys are already further in the fact that the leaders are coming out to talk to you personally, based off of the conversations that they've had. That generally people come up and they just tell them that they're not going to open up the door. And, you know, you guys also, like, noticed the imp. Like, generally, probably no one else would have noticed that. And so it's you were told there was a very shut-in society and that you needed to negotiate with them to get them to rejoin, or at least come to some sort of deal.
Yeah.
I mean, out of character, we could also just wipe them out and take their land.
Hey.
True. Literally.
If it comes to that, I'm not saying that should be our first course of action. I'm just saying if they, you know.
Idea. What if Lunu, due to the giant strength, becomes a militant communist?
Yeah.
Oh no, this really is the start of Lunu's villain arc.
So, anyway.
Well, so they ask you, they say, well, are you here looking for asylum?
No, not asylum.
Yeah, no.
We have it pretty nice over there.
She says, then why do you need to come out here to talk to us? Why couldn't you just have stayed over there?
Because we wanted to talk to you.
He says, well, I'm here. You may speak. Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
I was like, do there need to be, like, some dire reason for it?
She says, you braved one of the most dangerous rivers in the entire world to reach us. Yes. You must have some
I don't think
motive.
that's one of the most dangerous.
Well, luckily, there's not actually a lot of big rivers in the area of the place. The most amount of rivers is the River Kingdoms. And now that Mount Drax kind of taken care of, I feel like that area is probably pretty safe.
No.
This is probably one of the
Frostwall is pretty fucked up.
Well, yeah, but they're not because the wall is up there. So the rivers aren't really the problem. And I guess, I mean, I don't know. I guess probably the border on here is probably extremely tense and probably dangerous.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't know about that. because they'd be isolated. So, yeah, they say, well, if you've traveled through many to such dangerous locations in the past, and that this is easy for you, maybe we have underestimated your capabilities, she says. I apologize for that. But
No, no
no,
worries, no worries.
our isolation is what's offered us great protection in the past. So you must understand, you being here, especially if you all are that powerful, is a threat.
All right, I understand that, and I want to make it clear that we don't mean any harm. We're just here for negotiations, just to talk, to maybe produce like some relations. I know that you've had like this isolationist mindset, right, and that's helped you out. But I feel like we could come up with something that's a little more mutually beneficial. Like maybe we can give you something you can, and we can like start something good for the both of us.
At this point, the Kieran steps forward and says, even if you all are honorable, which I sense that you are, the risk of greater openness is not from you all, but, perhaps the next group that comes to visit or the group after that. Should it be aware that creatures such as us, who have caused great harm in the world, had found sanctuary here, many would come to destroy us.
Okay, so the key of diplomacy here is making sure you guys don't get your shit rocked by some guy who thinks you're a threat, even though you guys are clearly not a threat. Is that what
So the Kieran says, well, I must say, we are powerful in our own rights. For someone to judge us as a threat, especially if should we be opening our doors and interacting with the world, would be a conclusion that I think a lot of people would be correct to assume.
Yeah, but like against an army or like something like that.
Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
Like, what if, like, someone sent an army here?
Is that an army would be hard pressed to make it up the river in a way that we wouldn't see coming and be able to flee. And even then, that's why we've chosen to remain in this location. And as long as we don't assist growth, it will be many years before Ormos naturally grows closer to us. That we risk interaction that we didn't, but as long as we keep our doors shut and turn back all that come, then we shouldn't have a problem. He says, we have a deal, and he kind of like points his horn towards the pigeon and towards George, and he says, we have an open policy for people of your kind may come in and live here if you want. But once you decide to live here, should you return, you may spread information about us. So you will have to live here forever.
I prefer to travel. I prefer the open sea. After this, I'm done.
You might want to move closer because we can barely hear you.
No, I very much prefer the open sea than staying inland. I'm a traveler by heart.
He says, very well. he says, at this point in time, we don't see the benefit of establishing diplomatic relations.
Yeah, we're losing them. We're losing them.
Out of character huddle. The fuck do we do?
We literally
So, like,
have nothing.
We have some things, right? Like we have different trade goods. We have all this stuff. We get like their main thing is that they don't want to risk getting ganked, right? Like you said,
Yeah.
right? So if we can like make sure that like they have like a deal in place there. So like I feel like they're pretty good with like promises and such. So if we could like get a contract in place or something where we say that like this teleportation circle that we're planning to set up is strictly monitored and like we put it in a place where they can like easily like what's the word, easily like get rid of it if they want to, then I can only see like benefits coming through it if like we can like have stuff being sent over there. They can send stuff over if they want to. They can be part of the greater
we can
situation.
offer citizenship, I guess, but they're already, you know, it's the equivalent of that guy who found out that like their little plot of land isn't a part of the U.S. So they've just they've made their yard a sovereign nation or whatever the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the real problem: is how do we?
There is a really big chip that you guys have that I don't think you've realized, and that is that you already know their secret. The thing that they're keeping isolation to avoid.
Yeah.
The fact that they're like demons and celestials living here. You already know that.
Yeah.
So that could also be something that you could use.
Okay, yeah, true.
And then remember, your goal is to
get the wheat family
establish, like basically have a barony control some section of land. Whether or not this town is included is doesn't necessarily matter. But if it's not this land, then you would probably need their help establishing a town nearby.
Yeah, I took spells to like help with construction, basically, like mold earth and whatnot.
Yeah, roll me an insight check.
All right, give me one moment. Give me a second. Goddamn mouse. There we go. All right.
Can I ask a question while they're doing that?
Yes.
Are Azamar considered like part celestial?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but they're native to this plane of existence.
What does
19.
that mean? What do you mean? Is this place only for celestials and demons not native to this plane of existence?
So, celestials, fiends are not native to this plane of existence. However, Azamars usually have.
And Azamars are a humanoid, and the thing that these guys are worried about is not even necessarily being persecuted because they are a demon or because they are a celestial, because there are places. Mount Jacqueline has it. There are multiple places in where those are allowed. These people are worried because they were a part of the invasion.
Yeah.
And the Kirin basically said, like, no, they have a legitimate reason to want to kill us. It was almost like saying, like, yes, it makes sense why people would want retribution against us. So with the 19 insight, you guys go over like, a couple of different things. You go over like, trade routes, the benefit of being able to provide magic in order to really set this up, and how the cooperation can really help. And you start to get the feeling from talking them through the insight that if you really wanted to find out what they kind of need, you're probably going to need to convince them to let you in and to take a look around. Um, because they're generally very dismissive about anything. They say that they're generally fine, that they're filled with very powerful creatures, they can defend themselves, they're very good at manufacturing these kind of things. But, you know, that is how they see themselves, but there may be stuff that they're missing, and there may be more stuff that they could theoretically offer.
Character, one of the other things I was thinking of offering them, or not, maybe not offering, but an argument I was thinking of making is the fact that currently yet another celestial is currently threatening to wage war on all of the lands in Interregnum, which would include them. And either swing it from like one of two angles of, if you want to be able to actually protect yourself from this guy and his like very different kinds of tactics that are very underhanded and dishonorable, they should just join with either Gaffney, like officially, as an official, like, I guess, town part of the country. Or what they could do is, or we could go a different route in that, look, this guy is going out right now, and he is an actual madman. And if you want to be able to claim you guys aren't associated with him and have a really good foot in the door to not be persecuted, openly fighting, like helping us fight against him and aiding our efforts to stop him from creating this radical movement across the country would do wonders for them. And that's kind of what I was thinking of potentially one of those two directions.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a little bit.
Well, yeah, so you basically want to start talking about the Aethervathy politics and how it's going to affect them if they don't interact with it.
Yeah, because it will interact with them eventually. There's nothing they can do. Like, no matter how isolationist they want to be, things will still expand over here, and probably a lot faster than they expect, given how crazily things have been moving recently.
All right, between the two of you and Connar, roll me a
I can roll the persuasion.
Yes, persuasion.
I'll roll it.
All right.
I'll also cast guidance on myself once my sheet decides to load.
Oh, you're both of you.
Well, I don't have persuasion, so I can't give them advantage.
Whoever wants to give me advantage, I know.
Yep, I can give you advantage.
I am just waiting for my sheet to load. Yeah. What the actual fuck? Why is it taking this long?
If it's taking a really long time, sometimes exiting out of Roll20 and getting back in is the way to go.
One second, I'm gonna close my sheet and see if it'll just magically work.
Last thing I want to do is.
Okay, wait. Let me refresh the page. This is actually insane. I've never had a.
Yeah, no, I have persuasion, Steven. So.
I think I have a higher score than you.
Yeah, I have a +6. You have a plus something.
9.
Yeah.
There we go. Now it worked instantly, motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, I do have +9. All right, so let's do it. I'm gonna guidance myself as well.
Yep. Go for it.
I got my wheel and woe ready.
25. 25.
Nice. Did I roll my D4?
Oh wait, you have advantage. 28. And
29.
29.
Nice. So they kind of look at each other, and it seems like they say we had not realized it had gotten so chaotic, and that it's not as stable as we believed it to be.
Yeah, we are willing to work.
What did they say?
Well, I was going to say, so they say they talk for a little bit further, and they say, well, we're willing to discuss with you about this. But note that one of the things that we will require is guarantees of what do you call it? Sorry, I'm forgetting the word. Pardon. There we go. From the invasion. And then, but we can go over the details. We'll invite you all to stay for the night.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, nice.
Cool beans.
So they go back in through the door and they say, in a moment, the gate will rise and you'll be able to sail in. While this is going on, Charlemagne kind of huddles you all up. And he says, all right, now that we kind of know what's going on here, we got two kind of win conditions. He says, one, they just agree to, join the Greater Ormos area, and we put the Wheat family as their official baron, and we come up with some fair tax deal to get them into the system. We agree to their demands, smooth things over. Or the next is that we get them to agree to help set up a colony nearby that the Wheat family can more directly rule over. Either of those will look good. The Wheat family probably prefers the former rather than the latter, but they don't really matter. He says, but there will be a lot of pushback if we did offer these people asylum. And we did pardon them. Since their crimes were located in Ormos, legally, the Count or the Monarch would be able to pardon them. But it wouldn't be popular, he says.
But if we're talking in, actuality, did these people here specifically commit any crimes? Because, they were stuck in the forest, right? They were stuck in the wilds of Ormos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, were they complicit in the greater, outcast song?
I think
the
more important question is, did they participate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because they were part of the army.
Charlemagne says that the technicals of it wouldn't matter too much, but there is a crime of just invasion that they did do. But you're right in the fact that we could argue that they didn't really know that they were getting themselves into. The whole situation, a lot of it was not necessarily fully conscious on their part, and that you are right, they didn't actually kill anybody or deal any damage. They showed up and were immediately
attacked by dinosaurs.
And
if anything, they're just like us.
Yeah. So you're right. It's not like
the forest.
Charlemagne says these people have committed far less crimes than, let's say, someone like the Inquisitor. It's the optics of it that kind of hurts us, and where the Inquisitor is being shielded, and do we then shield these people? That may help the Inquisitor say, oh, well, see, what I did may have been bad, but these people are shielding, people who are a part of some people who are trying to destroy the entire world. Charlemagne says, I was there, and when all of that was going bad, I had come to Ormos, I had broken off with them, to gain a magical artifact to bring to Bubbles. And it wasn't good. I mean, I know Barbados, he says, his entire team was wiped out during that conflict. There are deep wounds, he says, associated with these people. You know, at the end of the day, I'd like to help them. They didn't really do anything, super wrong. And working together is a lot better than trying to fight them. He says, if you guys want to, we could try and purge them, but and then we'll suffer a little bit with the nobility because we won't be able to give anything to the Wheat family. But then we won't need to deal with the fact of the people who are upset about this grudge. So that's kind of the trade-off that you have to discuss.
Yeah, we out of character. This is very much like not every German, was a Nazi.
Okay. I don't think that's any. I don't think it's even comparable to this because this is more like randomly like conscripted soldiers being like airdropped into a fucking country. Like this isn't at all like that. Like, I think these guys. We have sheltered people who have committed far worse. I mean, just look at Tito and fucking Swilliam alone, right? Like.
And Squilliam's dying. I'm keeping that like in our head. Squilliam is dying.
Yeah.
No, you said you were giving me a conversation. Don't you forget that part.
Okay, sure.
I'm not going down without at least trying one last time.
It's okay. It's more, post 9/11 acts of not every Muslim's a terrorist sort of shit is what we're dealing with right now.
Well, the thing is, these guys aren't even like. Again, I think it's different. It's like these guys.
I'm saying in the social context to everyone else in the world, we know the crimes of the people that we've dealt with. The fact that we kept Squilliam around was a miracle.
I'm sure we'll recover him one day. I still believe in him.
To be fair, and you guys did promise him you'd help him take over the world.
That was
I was going to make good on that promise.
I did promise him squat. George I promised him squat.
So,
I promised that we, if he worked for us, he could be free.
Yeah.
That's all I promised him.
So, these people are asking for basically the same deal. And in a lot of ways, they're probably more trustworthy. The problem is that the optics are really bad because of the damage and the destruction that kind of happened. Like, a lot of the people, even in Ormos, are refugees from elsewhere that because of, like, their homes were destroyed and they've come to Ormos for a new life. And these are technically the people responsible, even though they themselves were not directly involved.
Then, here's my idea. And it's kind of a dumb one, but hear me out. We simply do not tell anyone where they are from.
Wait, why don't we just do that?
Yeah, it's literally no one needs to know. Who did it? A wizard. And they just...
Yeah, why can't we just say they're a bunch of random outcast demons and celestials?
Yeah, that were summoned by a wizard, and the wizard's dead.
No, wait, even better. 2 bickering wizards. They're petty.
They got into a turf war with each other!
You're trying to blow up the earth or something.
Do you know how easy it is in this world to blame anything on a fucking wizard?
It's so easy. Just blame wizards for your problems.
They do cause most of the problems.
Archibald sneezes. Mallard sneezes.
A bridge appears in a random spot in the world. Millions die.
All right. So, if I could get you, or one of you guys, to roll me a history check.
Oh no! Not the dreaded history check.
Guys, we're real fucking...
The dreaded history check.
You finally realized the other day that you never have us do history.
I was gonna say it's very rare, but coming up with a convincing lie is definitely a knowledge of history of the world in terms of making it convincing.
Basil bring one of his history books.
So I want to say Basil has the highest. I might have the highest instat in the party with a +2. I don't know if anyone else has a higher history, but.
And Charlemagne can't help us out with this.
You can ask Charlemagne, but you'll still need to do a roll for yourself, and he might have some additional comments.
Are we all gonna just do a roll, or is it gonna be one person?
Let's say one person. You all can do all of your buffs and all that other stuff too.
I'll eat a guidance on Basil as well.
I got my wheeling and walling.
It's a really good idea of like all of like the adults in the room being like, yeah, we should come up with a lie, and then they all turn to the child and be like, what's a good historical context thing for us to base this lie off of?
He's the only one
that goes to school.
If you don't want the child, George can do it. Look, if
George
you
can do it.
Yeah, like honestly, but more likely believe me as like a fellow undead, I guess. Not only that, but I also have knowledge of the past. If I spend all my uses on it, I could get like 46 added to this fucking roll. Oh, as long as you guys buff me.
What's your instat? Because you might just be like sandbagging.
It's fucking nothing. But if you guys buff the shit out of me, it wouldn't matter.
We could also just do that and buff the shit out of Basil. Wow.
Well, George can't add the knowledge of the past roll, which is a D6, by the way. So as long as George doesn't roll a nat 1.
I mean, we get a D6 from knowledge of
I
past life.
will
We
say, for this roll, we will do normal skill check rolls. Nat 20 and nat 1 don't do anything. So even if you roll a 1, if you buff it up to 20 somehow, I'll count it as a 20.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
I think George should do it.
Alright, if you want to do it.
Alright, I'm gonna do it.
Sure
I'm gonna
can.
fucking do it. I'm gonna do it!
Alright,
I
guys.
fucking knew it. You absolutely.
I'm gonna spend knowledge of the past, all 4 of
Wait,
them.
could be. Well, I guess he's not proficient in history, so never mind.
Wait, you can
I
spend
knew
4
this
of
was a
them?
disaster. I knew this was a terrible fucking idea.
No, alright, so to be fair, Basil's difference is only 2.
Wait, it wouldn't have been a 7.
Okay. So that's 5, 9, plus 9 again, 18.
That's 18. What other stuff do we have?
Wait,
Do we have roll?
No. You guys are at 21.
How?
Austin rolled 46 and got 9.
Oh, I'm
Connor got 4.
Yeah.
1. That's 14. 16 plus 5 is 21.
Did you add my 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, all together with all the bonuses, it's 21.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
it
so you
wasn't
guys all...
a terrible idea.
You gotta rattle George's brain.
As we're going in, first, let me describe the scene once you come in. Because you're all... Because I'm going to say that you guys... This role is like something that you all work together on throughout the night. Yes, to come up with it. And so when you come in to what is basically an artificial bay, you see an extraordinarily nice beach with very nice like kind of beach houses all along the entire side. You see a volleyball net, your guys' favorite sport. people playing beach volleyball. A lot of these people look completely normal. They look like normal humans. But then mixed in are angelic and demonic creatures walking around. They all seem to be getting along. As you come up, everybody kind of looks at you odd when you come in, and one of the normal-looking humans comes up and he sniffs you guys and says, "You guys aren't lycanthropes." And the Kieran says, "Don't worry, it's been decided. We're entertaining these. These are our guests." And people kind of look very nervous once the term "guest" is used at you guys. At first, a lot of them were coming over. They seemed very happy to see you, and then once they heard that you were guests, they got very nervous. And they eventually bring you to a nice house, and they say you may use this while you're here. Can
I roll insight on the guests thing?
Yes. Yes.
28.
Holy shit.
People, when they join, they don't leave, because that's what makes them so safe. So you being guests that are going to stay here and then leave is the first time that's ever happened, and it's very dangerous. And so you guys are everything that they've built this giant wall to protect against, and now you're inside of the wall, and so they're very nervous about that. You don't sense any outright hostility, just a lot of anxiety, and talking with them about it, that it's something that they always knew would eventually happen. They just weren't expecting it to happen so quickly. Do you have any other questions about the interaction?
No.
You got pretty high, so you can pretty much figure.
Anything I can tell about the culture here? Or, like, I know guests is a thing, and, really one of the things I might want to ask is, the lycanthrope thing. Like, this seems like a bit of a problem around here, huh?
No.
So you asked that to the one who came up to you guys?
So, well, the thing is that if we're lycanthropes, that's why we look like normal humans. That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh no, there's no problem. There's no moon.
Oh yeah.
This is the best place for us. We sought this place out."
Oh.
No moon. Oh, true. There's no moon.
Says, "Yeah, we were originally refugees, and we heard about a giant underground cavern, that had a whole like towns and stuff living in it, and we came here, and eventually one of our members came out here, found the town, and the demons and the angels, kind of saw us as, I mean, technically an infection. I got mine. They say after the big outbreak at the sea restaurant. I wasn't even there, but it spread to my town, and then it got me, and and this just seems like it's a paradise on earth."
Oh. Yeah, we probably.
So you guys go into your lodging that they provide for you. Now seeing that and you do see a couple of other undead creatures as well, like some intelligent undead, Austin, which is why it seemed like they were willing to accept you, because you're functionally an undead. And so it just kind of seems like they've collected quite a bit of these creatures. You see, maybe there's like an aberration or two, probably not a lot, but in fact, actually, you see a couple of vampires too, or things that look like vampires. They're not Dracula's, because most of those are dead. But there are a couple of others, things that just don't like the sunlight. So you see on the beach, there's like a couple of like tanning vampires because it's not sunlight coming down. And that's kind of where you guys are. So you go inside the lodge, and you take this new information and you start planning it out. And it's like, well, the vampires and the werewolves make sense. We don't really need to worry about the lie for them. But the angels and demons, you guys kind of have to do, and you come up with a couple of scenarios. One is a short-term lie to just try and get you through the election, and that is to just say they came from the River Kingdoms, and that they're from specifically like Mount Jacqueline. That's something that people would be able to figure out is a lie, but it may give you enough time to get through, and then once Bubbles is queen, you won't need to worry about it. And then the next option is to because you were able to get a pretty good roll, you come up with a couple of wizards throughout history that you think you can blame this on.
Who died?
So Tom.
Tom did.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What wizards in history?
Archmodeus.
Greatest wizard battles history. You died. You said we found.
So you could lie and say that it was Archibald.
Well,
you also know of a wizard who's a shut-in and not very much is known about him, that fought with the heroes who defeated the head Dracula. There's a wizard named Kane. Or no, sorry, not Kane.
Denorma?
Yeah, right?
Are you?
No.
Are you talking about?
Sorry, Tyr. Kane's another wizard. Yeah, actually, there's a whole other wizard named Kane too. See, it wasn't a mistake. But Tyr, who fought in Mountain Track, who, as far as you guys know, disappeared off the face of the earth after. You guys are probably like, yeah, it's mysterious, and who knows what he's up to now, and he just isn't leaving his apartment because he doesn't like going outside. So you could lie and say that it was him. And then there's a couple of other no-name people in case you don't want to attach it to a named character, because you guys did beat the 20. And if you were to come up with this, you feel like generally, unless someone directly asked them, they probably wouldn't do it. Most of those wizards would be like, man, did I do that? Maybe I did, I'm sorry. Is probably the natural response of most of these crazy high-level wizards. And so you feel pretty good about pinning it on one of them. Another option is that you could try and cut the deal and then try and make contact with one of ththese things and try and get them in on the lie, either through one of the random other wizards or, maybe Tyr Archibald is still alive out there somewhere. You don't know. Or I guess even you could try and contact the people in Mount Jacqueline and be like, hey, can you cover a lie for us?
Hey, we got look. I feel like Jacqueline would be very much like we have an oppressed people that need some assistance. Could you lie for us? And Jacqueline's like, I'm lying every day of my life nowadays. What's up?
Yes, but you run the risk of while that communication is going back and forth, it's discovered.
Oh yeah. Speaking of being watched, uh, are we being watched by a certain inquisitorial person?
Inquisitorial.
How are you checking?
I like to imagine I still have my familiar out.
Oh, so like if you're like if you're thinking like there's someone physically watching you now,
Yeah.
you're fairly certain that you guys are safe. It doesn't even seem like the locals are definitely like interested in you guys, but you don't really sense that any of them is like trying to snoop on your conversations. You do get the feeling that like the building is being watched, but it's less like espionage and more like curiosity is what you're getting from the people who are kind of like looking
Yeah.
around. Like it's nobody like actively like looking and like taking notes and mental notes. It's like people, people are just walking in front of the building a little bit more than they maybe they're taking the long way home because they heard there was guests, rather than it being organized.
All right. So I
And
would like to do like a magical awareness. Like we're in like an enclosed area, right?
yeah, you're in a room.
Yeah. So like I want to do like um a magical awareness just to make sure that there isn't something like weird in the room that we're making the lie up in. Because like if there's like an eye watching that's like invisible or something, then that should be able to proc it, right?
If someone used the clairvoyance spell.
Yeah. If so, I learned about this spell now,
Yep.
so
Um,
now I'm paranoid.
so you you do that, and you're able to, and especially considering now that you kind of know how that spell works, having casted it yourself, you're fairly confident no one is currently using the clairvoyant spell in some place that would be able to see you
Okay, cool.
or hear you. I should also
Mhm.
say.
All right, so now I'm not worried about the Inquisitor. Um, so he gave us his phone number. He didn't give us like a burner phone or something, right?
Uh,
It was just his phone number.
I think he did like give you guys a phone originally, but it wasn't like a burner. It was just like that's just how he gave you the phone number.
Hmm. I would want to put that phone outside of the room
Okay.
just to be paranoid.
wait, we brought it.
Did
Yeah, I was
we?
gonna say I think you guys probably just took the information out and actually no, he called you guys. He got your number.
I have the phone in my inventory, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
oh, did
has
you?
our number, doesn't he?
I think every
Oh,
time.
okay, all right, yeah. So you have the phone in your inventory.
Yeah,
I
the
can't.
phone has
Yeah,
been
I
in my
think that's right.
inventory
Yeah.
this entire time.
Huh?
The phone has been in my inventory this entire time.
Yeah, but did you get that from the Inquisitor? Like he left it one for you, right? You didn't like
Yeah.
steal one, right?
Sorry. One more time. What did you say?
He left one for you, right? That's the one that you have.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Did you put it outside of the room for air of caution?
Hmm.
You should. Sure. I hand it to fucking Charlemagne or something when he's outside the room.
Okay, he puts it outside. You don't have to take it off your sheet. You can just go back out and get it once the conversation's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. No, it's we are this is going to be difficult, but ultimately these people didn't do anything. And they shouldn't be fucked over.
Charlemagne says that I agree. This is definitely a high risk, high reward plan.
I mean, it's not like we haven't done any of those before.
That's like every plan we've ever done.
He says, basically, no matter what, this lie won't be permanent. It is something that will eventually need to be resolved down the line.
The wizard one?
Yeah, the lie about the origin of these people.
Yeah, eventually someone will figure it out, he says. But it'll probably, if we cover our traces well, it'll be a while. Or we can do something that's going to be really rock solid, but only get us right through the election.
Yeah, I think the best course of action would definitely be to see if we can contact one of these wizards too to lend more credence. See if they'll be fine with being on.
Charlemagne also says that we could say that it was the Inquisitor that brought them, and when he denies it, we just call him a liar.
I mean,
now the shoe's on the other foot.
He says,
really funny.
but that run the risks of, if he's prepared, he might try and prove it. But it would. He says that's even more risk for even more reward. He says.
It would be very funny, but I do think we should stick it to a neutral wizard here.
I think a neutral wizard is safer. Jacqueline could work because she's, would totally be down for this. Tyr might also work because he probably just doesn't give a fuck, and no one's gonna ever be able to find him to question him on it anyways.
Here's our issue though, is we have to get in contact.
I will say, one of the most powerful wizards in the entire world is actually sitting in the room with you guys currently.
This is true.
So that's also an option.
Forgot resource. How powerful Asher was.
Asher, do you happen to have Jacqueline's number by chance, or a way of contacting her?
Well, we could blame it on Asher, but I don't think we want to do that. Because Asher is one extremely powerful wizard. However,
wait, I mean, could we just blame it on Asher? But could we not just say that she summoned these guys to help with creating a settlement out here? Right?
Can we?
Right? Am I crazy, or is that not an option?
Seems like
she says, well, I mean, you guys would probably have to spend a lot of money getting me the scrolls, so that way I could actually technically do that. So if anybody asked, I could show them that I could summon demons.
Oh, so you cannot summon.
I just don't have the. It's just not written down in my book.
Oh, I see. How much money would this require?
Let's take a look. So wizard. Because you'd have to buy the scroll, and then it costs money to put the scroll in the book.
Yeah.
And so let's see here. How it works. Copying a spell into your spell book involves blah blah flavor text. For each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold.
So it's 2 spell slots.
So the main demon summoning spell is what's it called?
Summon Fiend, I believe.
The wizard learns. Give me a second here. Because technically there's a couple of them. In order, and so technically the wizard can't really even summon angels, but that's player character ones. So in terms of the general world, that doesn't necessarily matter. So I'll just say you get the one, and it'll count. So it would be a 4th level spell. And then you upcast it in order to summon more powerful things. So to double that for the angels, I'll say you need approximately 8 quote-unquote levels worth of spell scrolling. So that would be 8. So that's 400 gold. And then...
Yeah, we're going to have to contact...
And then it's 500 gold for the spell cost, and you need 2 of those.
Yeah.
So a total of 1,400 shiny.
Huh?
No, in total.
Oh, in total. This is for everything.
Yes. And then it'd take her a little bit to do it, but that doesn't really matter, the time.
I feel like Jacqueline might be the safest bet, but that's just
Our question is, Charlemagne, can we dedicate some of Bubbles' war chest to this very specific task?
He says that he probably can arrange something, but that's a lot of money. And we don't want to overstay our welcome. Like if we start spending a lot of money, that's less money than we can spend on other things. He says.
Yeah. I think we should contact an outside wizard. Definitely.
I agree.
Yeah. Contact.
I don't know
wizard.
any of them, but I agree.
Yeah.
Could we? I mean, Asher, do you have any way of contacting these guys? Like any of them? If we got in touch with Jack, we can get in contact with Tyr, for example. Or I guess.
Are you implying that all wizards know each other?
Wait, idea. Can we look up the phone numbers, the fucking sending slate numbers to their office? Just we have the equivalent of a magic smartphone. Can we just look up their business number, basically their business sending slate, and send a message that way?
Roll me an investigation check.
I'm gonna need some help on that one. So I got a -1 unless someone else wants to handle that roll.
Basil has a +2.
Alright.
He knows how to use that damn phone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Gen Alpha.
Equivalent of all the old people handing the kids a phone.
Yep.
Oh, literally.
Because he knows how to use it.
Can I get? Oh, I was gonna also say the guidance him, but is it too late?
14.
I Wheel and Woeing it 16.
I am giving him a boost. Another 1.
That's total 17.
And my guidance 18.
All right, highs and lows.
God damn it!
Highs.
Oh no.
Well, good news. That's enough.
Oh, thank God.
That was actually the minimum with the 18 roll of what I was doing for the percentile. I had you guys at 70%.
But yeah, we look up like the government offices of Mount Jack using Magic Google, if you will.
So what you're able to get is so you're able to find a high enough level conjuration wizard that is currently working as a professor in Sahir.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get an office, like a local contact in Mount Jacqueline. But it just seems like you're assuming that one's probably going to go to a lower level person. So you'll probably need to come up with a way to get you up the chain of command to actually get in front of Jacqueline. Because if you say what you're there for to a lower peon, then it'll probably leak out. But the contact that you have in Sahir, that one is like the office hour phones for the guy. So you're assuming that it's probably going to go, if not directly to him, to like a person directly beneath him. So it's probably a little bit easier to get up.
Okay. Alright, we could blame this on Mallard. It's an idea. Let me... I guess we kinda... Which way, Western fellas?
Oh, you want to know what? I'm gonna give you guys a third technical option. Basil says that he found a gamer tag of someone who on forums is talking about magical things that probably only a master would be able to do. Talking about stuff on forums when he started looking up like high level wizard stuff.
What's the gamer tag?
Let me randomly generate one.
It's gonna be fucking tier, I know it.
It has to be too, and you're probably
It's
right.
either tier or it's who else? What other character?
I'm trying to remember, like, God, I'm just thinking of that. There's like several meme ones I can think of, but like, I say as a joke, but oh God, there's one in particular that I can't say over stream.
For a gamer tag or? What was
Are you
it?
trying to say a slur right now?
No, it's more that the guy who said the thing is in trouble for a lot of things. So no, I'm only saying it to make fun of him, but I will. But
Is it someone whose last name is Co?
I'm trying to remember who it is. It's like we're referencing that Maxor video. That's all I remember.
So I haven't been able to get a good one, but I'll say that it's like mostly a lot of like numbers and random like local internet lingo, but it does have the word dragon in it.
Yeah, it's tier.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe it could be one of Mallard's many relatives, and it's like no, it's tier.
That dude. Oh yeah.
It's out of character. That's tier.
Cheers like a lost Mallard ancestor. I'm fucking done.
That would be very funny. So, I guess we could contact this gamer tag guy.
Yeah, why not?
Just get a random gamer to take the fall.
Yeah. Mr. Gamer, say something racist.
Mr. Gamer, please use your gamer word.
You're our only hope.
Please, we need you to be as racist as possible.
Please, the world will end if you don't say the word. Please.
You need to become the CEO of racism.
So you guys wanna? What do you type to him?
Oh no, this is the hardest question we've ever been asked in this entire campaign.
How would you like?
You could also reach out to the others too. You don't have to like necessarily just pick.
No, I
one.
think we'll all be working from like sending slates right now.
We need to definitely ask Basil what the fuck, how we should greet this man.
How do you speak gamer? Like, hello, good Sigma.
Sigma.
Hey, King, dropped your crown.
He says, I don't know. A lot of his writings are actually kind of pretty formal. On the actual like forum post. I think he's probably pretty old.
Well, I guess by this point he would be, huh?
Yeah.
Call him a boomer and then get him upset. Don't get him upset.
Well, no, we don't want him upset. We want him to help us.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Well, Basil, if you think writing formal is for the best.
Yeah, it's like,
Hey,
hey,
This is what he's been writing.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like very kind of like specific stuff. Like he says he's mostly doing like writing like technical stuff for like different games and then Magic. I mean, he's definitely like really really high up there. In terms of kind of the stuff he's writing about. But he's definitely not writing it in like full academic papers, so I don't know why he's on here doing it this way. Basically, he's saying that he sticks out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, like, we can ask him to get on voice chat.
We could try to be on voice chat. Discuss magical theory.
Hey, listen, we need a magical favor.
This is an adult texting you, by the way.
This is an adult.
Oh no.
Okay, no.
Oh man. Oh man.
That needs to be specified.
It really does need to be specified. Who fucking boy?
We SWAT cheers.
Yeah, that's real important.
Oh no, this the gang swept Tyr's house.
Oh no.
Don't want him coming up with a box of cupcakes.
Take a seat, Tyr.
Oh.
So yeah, so you guys, what do you send him?
You know what? Lunu, using Basil's contact, or at least finds him via the same contact in the forums, and goes, "Hey, your magic knowledge is really, really good. Listen, would you happen to be you seem like a pretty powerful wizard. Would you like to assist a foreign nation from the comfort of your home?"
Hyzelos.
I'm gonna go high. We always go high here.
So you get a message back, being like, you aren't gonna ask me about my car's extended warranty, are you?
No.
No.
He says, are you asking for money?
No.
No.
He says, all right, what do you need?
We have a nation.
We need you to take
He
responsibility.
also responded back right away. There was no delay from your instant message.
Good. It's like
so lonely.
We have a colony of
Wait, are you putting this down in writing?
We need you to take credit for summoning a bunch of creatures to this location, to a nearby village to act as a cover story.
So that they're not horribly discriminated against for no reason.
Yeah.
I'd like to specify if we're putting this down in writing or not, because I want to get this guy on a call so that
I'd
like to
I would like to put him on call, actually. Call.
All right, so you say you're willing to give the details over a video call?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you dial up this guy. You send him your number, and you arrange the call. He picks up immediately.
Jesus Christ.
And he says, you hear a voice on the other side, and it says, "Yeah, I'm a pretty powerful wizard. What do you need? Give me the details." And do you fill them in?
Yeah, we fill them in verbally.
He says, yeah, this is some pretty good stuff you guys are doing here, helping these people out. He says.
Thank you.
He says, I remember when all those demons and angels started appearing out of nowhere. He says, one of my very good friends, him and his family were threatened by them, so I had to fight them off. But it did kind of seem like a lot of them were just kind of going along with the flow, So you just need it to be that if anybody asks if I did that, just say that I did.
Yep.
He says, "Do I get a reward?"
I mean, if you want to like stop by,
we could send you some. I mean, we could send some local exports and stuff if you want, like a loot box almost. Like
and get some really good bubbles merch.
Yeah, a gift basket. We can send you a gift basket.
Oh, I meant from the village, but that works too. We could do bubbles campaign gear too. I don't know.
Oh, he says, I don't know who that is.
We should probably just send a gift basket of local stuff to him every once in a while from here. That's probably going to be very easy to set up.
Do you like dinosaur meat? We can get you some like frozen dinosaur meat. Send it up like express shipping.
We will have a teleportation circle in like 5 minutes, won't we?
Roll.
Yeah, I was gonna also offer that he could come here anytime, but I don't know if he's gonna do that.
Cinna, roll me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay, nice. I'm giving myself a bolster.
I'll guidance you.
Okay, thank you. So that's persuasion.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
I keep rolling ones, damn.
I roll 1 on all my guidances besides the last one. So I feel your pain.
He says, "Oh, this is the place with the dinosaurs."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I take that. Yeah, it seems like a fair deal.
Okay, nice.
Cool. Feel free to stop by anytime, and remember, you did this.
He says, "Oh, well, the thing is that I'm a little bit worried that if I leave, this he says he kind of like whispers into the phone a little bit. He says, I think the Boros company's watching me."
Oh, what if you just took a teleportation circle here? We're about to set one up in this.
He says, "Well, they know I'm a high-level wizard, so they're checking for that."
Oh, they can just.
Can you set up a
teleport to?
Circle for deliveries?
He says, "Oh yeah, just mail it."
Okay.
Oh.
12 years later, fucking rancid ass dinosaur meat. This exhausted courier who's gone on a fucking several year quest.
I'm assuming the normal mail system probably includes some teleportation for some goods.
Yeah.
He's expecting it express.
All right.
You guys have just set him up with frozen dinners.
Yeah.
That's all what he wants. He says, "Yeah, I mean, like, I live right outside the capital, so they keep trying to recruit me," he says.
Oh my god.
I fucking love how one of the heroes who prevented a plunge from via Old God, destruction of the planet via Old God, is now just a fucking meat in his basement.
That is trying to be desperately recruited by one of the most powerful world powers. But they can literally never get him to sit still enough to have a conversation.
He says, one time they sent somebody after me to try and convince me, and when I told him no, he targeted some of my friends. He's referring to one person. He has one friend. The person doesn't consider him a friend.
Who is
and
yeah.
Rafun.
And he said that he was targeted for it, and I made sure I was very clear in that that wouldn't be allowed. And he says, I went back in time, and I replace the person that would be growing up into him with like a simulacrum version of him, and then I went back forward in time and I dispelled him.
What the?
He said, and after that they stopped coming after me, he says.
What did you do with the kid version of the guy who you replaced?
Oh, I dropped off at like an adoption agency. I think he's doing fine. I checked in on him when I came back. I think he was a doctor.
That's nice.
He's definitely a whole lot better than the warlord that he became in his normal life.
I was about to be like, you deleted him from the timeline, but honestly, that worked out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
I love this. This is the best thing that's happened all campaign.
He says, but yeah. So, like, just so we're clear, you don't actually need me to summon any demons, right?
No,
Nope.
you're good.
Because I can get you a couple of them if you need them.
No, we're fine.
I mean, do we? I mean, should we ask them if they want more?
I don't think they do. Plus, that's too much to ask. We've already asked a pretty big favor already, so this is a huge solid for us. Thank you.
I mean, out of character, is it that huge of a solid? He's just lying and saying he summoned some dude.
He's literally probably because one of the downsides is that not a lot of people know where he is. Because he basically vanished off the map. You know the Boros company knows where he is. But it seems you get the feeling that they're treating it like a state secret.
Yeah.
They want anyone else to try to recruit him.
The former members of Mount Drac know where he lives because he just moved back into the house that he was in before. Like they have his address. But that's.
I like to think that when holidays like
that's out of character knowledge.
Yeah, I like to think that when holidays in the area, like she'll like make like a secret trip. Like she'll put on like a cloak and everything and make a secret trip to go say hi to him and see how he's doing.
And he doesn't answer the door. He does not.
No, he does. He loves it when people come visit him. They're his only friends.
They're his old. She's like going to make sure he's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, hey,
I do have like a headcanon that when Austin's character passed away, him and Jacqueline went to go visit him in the line, and Jacqueline offered him like a demon body to return.
No.
But
no,
I don't. And then Tyr offered him like a magic, like just like a refresh kind of thing. But we haven't figured that out yet. But because both Jacqueline and Tyr are powerful enough that death doesn't really apply to them anymore.
Yeah.
And taking one or two souls out of the line is probably something that's within their power.
Yeah, they don't do it often because
yeah,
but
but they do it for him.
We do it for Reginald, and Reginald would always say no.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Come back? No, thank you. Living once was hell enough. I wanted
still want to be immortal, living forever, not realizing when the day you will die. If you put it like that, Reginald, Jesus.
But yeah, Tyr says, well, he adds Basil's like gamer tag to his, and and he says, we can play some mobile games later. As well. And if you guys need anything, like I said, I really shouldn't leave. But I can take, like, if I get enough leeway, he says, I can do it. And he says that if anybody asks, he did summon a bunch of demons in a place called Ormos.
Demons and angels.
He says, yeah, those.
Yeah.
He says, you get the feeling that he's like multitasking. He's like playing a game while he's talking to you.
I feel like this is the most recognition he's ever gotten from Mount Drek.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh wait, I could have used defeating an old god as a way to get rich and famous. Fuck.
Yeah. Part of it's also like he doesn't want a lot of recognition. And it's like you guys aren't like trying to like give him an award or anything. You're just like, if anybody shows up, can you tell them that you did it? And really, it's very irresponsible because he has done no background checks on this to see if you guys are legitimate.
And that's okay.
I mean, all we have to do is keep up our end of the bargain, get him some meat.
That's true.
So you get like, yeah, you guys can put Charlemagne in charge of sending
the meat
bribes to this wizard.
All right.
Who, like I said, he does live like just outside of the capital of the Boros company.
Which is in Pimas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm surprised that's where he decided to settle down.
Well, that's where he was living before.
Yeah.
He just moved back. He just moved back into the house he was living in before he went to Mount Drak.
Yeah.
Because to him, Mount Drak was just like a couple of days.
Yeah, Pimas is a religious nation that was very large, so I'm just imagining it kind of works by like Utah rules, where the farther you are from Salt Lake City, the less Mormon it is. And that's where Tyr lives. Go watch Mount Dracula. Anyway.
And if anybody asks us why we're sending meat out into the middle of Boros company territory, then we can just say that Basil made a new friend.
But all right. So you've got a person willing to lie for you. Now you need to convince the locals that it's a good plan.
All right.
So the next morning, you guys come out. They invite you. They bring a couple of the other council members around, and they bring you to like a big open area where they've got kind of a breakfast set up for you to discuss with the two council members. The three, I'll use the term junior council members. The two main ones are the two important ones. The others will probably fall in line.
Yeah.
And so you sit down, you have some food, you deal with the small talk, and then afterwards, you kind of get the vibe that they're waiting for you guys to start the conversation.
We have a plan that could work out in both of our favors. And it would rely, unfortunately, on one of the most devious things in this world.
Are you gonna
A
own it
lie.
like that?
Yeah, a lie.
Exception.
A lie that's meant to protect all of you. From the idea is, and it, Blair, if you could help me explain.
Right. So if the issue is that, oh no, you guys were summoned during the Outcast song, which was a turbulent time for a lot of people, and while you guys were summoned with the intention to invade and destroy and kill people, but you guys didn't end up really doing any of that for the most part. So because it doesn't matter because you committed none of these crimes, we thought, why not just lie? And so we've just gotten contact with one of the most powerful wizards on the planet, the Great Tyr, who helped, fight and claim Mount Dracula from its original vampiric overlords. And he's willing to cover for us that at some point over these past few decades, you came to Wormwood and you summoned a bunch of celestials and demons in the area. And that is why you were all here. And if you're willing to go along with it, it'll be very easy. And all he wants in return is just, some frozen dinosaur meat dinners that we can sort out to make sure it's all sent to him correctly. That's all he wants. He wants almost nothing in return to cover for this. And he very much has the power to do all of this. So it's very believable. And very few people even know where he lives. So no one would really even be able to fact check it anyways.
The council members murmur amongst themselves, and the Fury says, I have no issue with this plan. The Kieran says, if we get caught in this lie, the reverberations against us may be worse then than they are now. It says lying is not good. Are you sure that there's no other way? And then the Fury says,
So you don't
like, oh, come
necessarily
on.
have to lie, right? All you have to say is that you were summoned. You don't have to say by who.
He says a lie by omission is still a lie. And the Fury says this is an opportunity. Yeah, it'll eventually come out, but if we're able to integrate for a while, those old wounds will heal. People will forget. We just this is a chance. And the different council members all kind of start arguing for a little bit back and forth about the plan. They ask a couple of questions on like exactly how it will work, and Charlemagne and you guys fill them in a little bit. And
I also want to make it a point that out of all the possible wizards that could have summoned you guys, this particular one will make it so even if the secret may eventually come out, it will take the longest time possible for people to figure it out because it is so hard to contact this guy.
Highs or lows?
Highs.
Can we get higher?
It doesn't look as if the Kieran is convinced, but he seems to be like, okay, well, let's sort of say we agree to this step. What does this town look like underneath these this new rule system, and where we're summoned by this wizard and now we're being supposedly what are your terms? He says.
So our terms would see simply. So we have currently. Okay, so out of character, right? So let's huddle for a bit, I guess. Here, how are we gonna phrase this? Like, we obviously want to install the Wheat family as the. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tom. Did you say the barony, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in that case, we want to install them as the barony. But how do we like phrase this in a way that's not gonna piss them off?
So like we just say that for official reasons we want to encompass this entire island. Are they like covering the entire island,
No, they're
or
just the
do they
tip
have
of
like
it.
okay?
The island is
So
actually quite large.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So for legal reasons, we want to like encapsulate this entire island as a barony, right? This city, I think, for all intents and purposes, they'll still be autonomous in their like ruling and like day-to-day activities and stuff. There might be a bit of, but when it comes to like expansion and like new territories, then maybe that's a discussion with the Wheat family and they get a bit of the profits from that, right? Or just like a slight tax if we want to tax them in the first place. It all depends on like how we want to do this. That money goes to the Wheat family, or at least a good bit of it goes to the Wheat family, so that they stay happy and quiet over here. Yeah. And it's like from like any other perspective, it looks like everything's taken care of. But they still have like their autonomy. They still have their abilities to do what they need to do because like we don't want to get rid of their governing system because like that's something that they're definitely going to push back on.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I guess we also have the taxing thing we need to implement too, but that might just be encompassed into the thing of incorporating the barony.
Mm-hmm.
But this would also open
So
up a
that's what
ton of.
you. So you guys bring up that you're like you'll be able to have your local government within the city borders. Um, you'll have very very low taxes, and then if we expand beyond that, then that would be a part of the barony. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think so.
Aren't they're still under the barony though, right?
Yes, but
Technically.
so like it's like the difference between being like de jure and de facto. They'd be de facto. I think what you're trying to say is that they'd be de facto underneath control of the barony, but um, or no, they'd be de jure under the barony, but not de facto. Like they wouldn't actually be really. The Wheat family wouldn't be able to really interact with them beyond what was set in the deal. So if there was taxes that be levied, they'd be levied by you guys in this deal, not something that the Wheat family could change. And that really the Wheat family just controls the rest of the island,
Is that good
which right
enough?
now it has nothing there.
Is that good enough for the Wheat family, or did they want to actually just like own the town? I'm not. I'm sorry. I don't remember exactly what their status was
So the
in the
the
previous.
Wheat family being directly in control of the city is significantly more preferred by the Wheat family.
Right.
But if you could get the guys to agree to that deal that Cinna was putting out, that would be enough for you guys to kind of declare victory. That's one of the things that Charlemagne said at the beginning was that as long as this town opened up to allow to assist with that development. Because
Right.
the real
And
problem is that like there's not like a really powerful like center over here. So settlers that come in usually get killed off by monsters. But if these guys are protecting some of the local towns and trading back and forth, that could spread, and then they could do that on the island without it having being an issue.
this could become the center of Ormos.
Yeah, or at least a frontier that's not desolate, which is what it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because the whole island turned into a whole civilization.
Eventually, yeah.
Maybe part of the thing could be asking the village to help expand. Like we can make that part of the deal, so we could do like a half and half almost.
Yeah, I think so. Asking them to help with future expansions should be part of the deal. Like they're going to be compensated for it in
Yeah,
some way, shape, or form, obviously. But
absolutely.
yeah, but like
But,
just keeping the door open.
so,
That
like, the economic development would be equal, but on the in terms of like the rights of like ownership from like a current section, um the barony would be able to have more influence over it than over the city itself.
mm-hmm.
So if like a new city was made on another section of the island, that would be underneath control of the barony. But if they're actively investing, then their investments would be guaranteed. Is
Yeah.
what you're saying? They wouldn't necessarily take those.
Yeah, basically. So then it's like half and half. So then they have an actual like workforce of people they can access to actually start developing things, and make it also make it easier for us to actually develop the forward here.
And if they're willing, we can set up the teleportation circle within the walls, so that once like everything's set up and we have like a center of like both sides going, then they have like a good trade hub right there. They have like a extreme center of trade where they can have like a lot of economic power there. So like that's only a win for them.
And I guess since we'll have a teleportation circle set up here, then this whole area actually could become the center of Ormos, because people could just teleport in here to Ormos.
It'd be
So
a
it'd
little
be like an
expensive,
alternate,
right?
like basically like opening port in a way. You know what I mean?
All right. Highs and lows.
We gotta go high.
We gotta go high. We gotta go high.
Nice. So they take the ideas, they look it over, and they come back to you, and they say, we want uh, 0 taxes within the city, and then they pull out a map, and they draw a line for where they say the city borders are. You see that it's a good distance out from where the current wall is. So like the wall that they've constructed, that they have their farmland and their town on the other side of it. The line that they draw saying that's the current city boundaries is beyond that. And they say we'll assist with providing resources and investment in order to ensure that the entire island can be developed. And if we're going to allow a teleportation circle here, they say we want to be able to control what comes in and out of it, and levy taxes on any of it.
Tax to the city and us not.
Yeah, basically they're saying that they want to be, for all intents and purposes, 100% independent. And they say that they'll acknowledge that they're underneath like a baron, but that they want in that contract that they have that says that they're baron underneath the Count Strix, is that the taxes are all laid out and that they're basically not taxed, and that that the Baron can't interfere with their government at all.
And we were saying the barony wasn't going to interfere with the government of the city, anyways. That was something we were already saying.
Yes, yeah, but that is what they're saying. They're agreeing to that part, but they're asking for additional things.
I mean, could we implement like a time frame, like a term, like a lease on the teleportation circle, where maybe for like the first, I don't know how many years of revenue, they get the sole profits from it, right? The sole like tax benefits from it, but after a certain point, then it falls back under the count's jurisdiction.
Or maybe it's half and half, right? Like half of it goes to the city, half of it goes to the barony.
They come back and they say,
because like we're putting a lot of work into creating the circle in the first place. That's a lot of resources to put in to like not get anything out of.
Yeah. So what they say is that what they'll do is they'll say that anything that's marked like anything that comes through the teleportation circle that is immediately sent, so it's just transit. They'll just implement a normal fee. They won't check on it. They won't restrict anything that goes through, but they want the right to be able to have tariffs on anything designed to come to the city.
Okay, that works better. So like if we're just like having the teleportation circle and then we're taking them out of city limits, then that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they say that in that case there'll just be a fee to cover the cost of maintaining the circle, but in terms of like anything designed for the city, they want to be able to control the taxes for that.
Okay. I think that works. And once things are more established, not talking to them, but like once things more established, then like there can be other teleportation circles.
Yeah, and also like teleportation they're kind of expensive to maintain and to use. So like right now it'd be very beneficial to have it there, but once the whole area kind of gets a little bit more developed, normal shipping will probably replace it.
Okay.
In terms of how useful it is.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the
but,
issue is the river.
Yes. And the teleportation circle in terms of being able to get things started up is very useful. Mm-hmm. Do you write anything in about giving the pigeon guy his restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah. That will be between the two lands, the two cities.
All right, so they agree to offer land and let him set up a restaurant. They'll be listed as a cultural exchange. And one of the minor council members kind of like speaks up and says, he says, well, I don't fully understand everything with all of like the politics of the election going on with you guys. But it seems like you're directly working for one of the candidates. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed. It's Bubbles who we're working for.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't we have it be that if she's elected, instead of us being several tiers down, why don't we just be directly under Bubbles, and she's the one that that we negotiate all of our taxes and future things with.
Oh no, that's a good
That's
question.
actually a good idea.
Well, the thing is, I mean,
So that would make that would be a negative for the Wheat family. It'd technically be a negative for Count Strix too. But he's getting a lot of positives out of this too, in terms of large amounts of areas being developed that he probably wouldn't care.
Yeah,
But that would also it also say that like in terms of like the nobility in general, it'd be kind of almost a land grab on Bubbles' part. But it would also make it a little bit easier if things like start like when it eventually comes out what's going on, if Bubbles is in direct control of the city.
Yeah.
In terms of legally, it may help things get smoothed over.
Yeah, in the long run.
So there's a lot of pros and negatives to this deal.
Yeah, because ultimately these people don't deserve to be persecuted. The count, the baron, whatever. It's been very long established that fucking Lunu like, yeah, we'll do this. I'll be
you're doing it mostly to save face, so you don't actually care about the nobility.
Yeah, it is more so. Is the nobility gonna get their little chunk of land and their own little settlement? Yes. All right, perfect.
Well, it's also the issue of this will, if they have nothing to actually rule over is the issue. Although unless they
we were gonna make our own settlement was the thing. Like, yeah.
I mean, from what we saw, were they more preoccupied with just having their land and all that stuff, or were they more?
Yeah, we were gonna build them a settlement. Like we were gonna establish the port because we didn't actually know what the deal with the settlement was.
See, so here's the thing: is the Wheat family what the Wheat family really wants is to not have to leave where they've been. And you've already determined that they're below the Union, and the Union wants that land, and so they're kicking them out. And you can say to the Wheat family, so sorry, here's a stipend, go, you're no longer nobility, go live a normal life. And so you could have done that from the very beginning. The reason why you're doing all of this is to save face with the nobility about being like, don't revolt and, don't immediately side with the Inquisitor because we're not an existential threat to you. Lunu is definitely an existential threat to the nobility.
Yes. Ultimately, I will be whispering
just trying
things
to make
in
it
Bubbles.
so that way they don't realize it.
Yeah.
And so, if you guys wanted to, you could be like, look, you just need to, help them on paper so that way, they can get it, recognize the claim. You could, in terms of, like, if you really wanted to push it through, you could sign over a bunch of powers to them that basically means that they're never going to have any issues at all. Currently, they're not expecting you to do this. They're underneath the assumption that you're on the nobility's side. So there's a bit of mistrust, and that's why they're negotiating back and forth pretty hard.
So wait, sorry, you're saying that the town currently thinks we're on the nobility side?
They're worried. What they're really worried about is that if they agree to this now, even if it doesn't directly put someone in control of them, 20 years, 30 years down the line, that feudal thing will take them over and they won't be able to continue. That they'll be protecting their form of life only temporarily, and that's why they've been resistant to making the deal.
Oh, I see. I see.
I see.
Well, the nobility is really
I don't have skin in this.
the civil servant of the king, and the king will be Bubbles. So,
I guess that's true, right?
Yeah. Through association, if they listen to the Wheat family, you know, they're just an agent of Bubbles.
Yeah.
Is what I
Yeah,
say.
but they'll be there's rights and protections that the nobility enjoy. And so what you can basically do is carve out the town as being not a part of that. Basically, by giving Bubbles the right to intervene directly is not something that the king has by default. It'd have to be something that you write into it. And you can do that, but note, for everything that you write into to the that weakens the power of the nobility, the less effective the making the nobility happy it becomes, if that makes any sense.
I think for right now, because ultimately we do want them so that they'll vote in favor of the king of Bubbles here. We gotta tell them no, but things can be renegotiated later.
When you say tell them no, tell them no about what?
About Bubbles directly administering them.
Yeah.
They come back and they say,
I mean, we can be straight up with them, right? Like, I don't think they're gonna snitch to anyone. We can just say, like, hey, we need this group of people to feel like they have, like, to feel important.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to be that honest, but we definitely don't want to be that honest. But it's like we could be like, these are people who have, helped us.
We have like a long-established tradition of having like this type of structure, so it would be better if we had this chain rather than you directly under Bubbles.
At least right now.
So they acquiesce. It was just an idea that they had put out. You guys and Charlemagne work out a lot of like the nitty gritty details. The big overarching stuff you guys have pretty much ironed out. They agree to most of the stuff with the portal. They agree to help. And in fact, actually, the Kieran shows you. He has the ability to so Kieran's have some pretty incredible stuff. He can purify water. He can control the weather. He can make plants grow better. He can like create like even like small furniture. And construction materials. And he says that's part of the reason why the area is so nice.
I wish I had the spell create wooden bench.
Yeah. So what he says is that like he wouldn't be able like to go out and like for a second nearby settlement, a sister settlement he refers to it as. He wouldn't be able to be there all the time, but he'd be happy to come there and help if things got too dangerous to keep a settlement from being wiped out. He says, and then in exchange for recognizing the Baron, we get citizenship, and once Bubbles is king and the lie comes out, he says that he'll go along with the lie as long as after Bubbles is crowned, he admits to the lie and pardons them.
Oh yeah, we can get. I mean, you can talk to our friend right here, pointing to Squawqueeze Cousteau. Like we actually just pardoned him the other day.
He didn't commit a crime.
We still pardoned him. Doesn't matter.
He did. Yeah. Yeah, he's still. I mean, technically, he did do some minor kidnapping. But really, that was a misunderstanding. Than a worst case scenario. So yeah, so they agree to assist with the settlement, and to help with its like initial founding, and then to make sure that it doesn't die until it reaches a point that it can sustain itself. And that they'll control the teleporting thing, but they won't levy any like unreasonable taxes on it. That they'll allow things that are going to that other settlement to come in safely, and that in exchange for that, they get to determine how much stuff comes into the city itself. And they generally, after a while, come to something of an agreement. If I could get one of you guys to roll me one more persuasion check.
I got this.
I got you with a bonus.
I'll guidance myself as well. I almost rolled with Basil. That would have been a disaster. Alright, my D4. A 2. Oh, I also have help. Did someone assist me?
Yeah, I'm helping.
Alright, so that's 30.
Nice.
33.
So with a 30. 33, perfect. So with that, you're able to make a pitch to the townsfolk. And because of your extraordinarily good roll, a lot of the fears that the townsfolk had about you guys being here and about the whole setup has kind of gone away. And now it seems like it's been actually almost replaced with excitement of that, you know, their anxieties are being dealt with, and that they'll be able to continue living the lives that they have been, and maybe even, you know, be able to travel and come back and go back and forth. You know, you do kind of preface, because the town here, the people that live here, all know the actual secret. Like all of like the demons and all of the celestials know, and the couple of vampires and the werewolves that have moved in have lived there long enough that they know the truth, and you guys explain that this is information that cannot come out until after the election. So generally they won't be able to really. They're planning on keeping most of the restrictions that they have in place until after the election to ensure that the secret doesn't get out. But they're willing to start up things like the teleporter and getting the other settlement off the ground right away.
Fantastic.
So 33 is a very good roll.
So. Yeah, this is a bit.
There's basically no downsides locally to it.
Nice.
So you guys throw a party to celebrate the signing of the deal, and a whole bunch of stuff is going on. And if I can get one of you guys to roll me a perception check.
Luna, you want to do it?
Yep. Are you helping?
Yeah, if I can.
I got advantage. 28.
Nice. So you see off in the distance, flying towards you at high speed. At first, you're like, "Oh, that looks like a cube flying towards us." But then it gets closer, and you realize that the top of it is a little bit shorter or a little bit smaller than the bottom, and that it's actually a giant flying trapezoid.
Man, Tom, your enemy design has really gone downhill.
And so, as you see this flying towards you, you kind of clear the area, get people out, because you don't know what it is, and it basically it's like hovering about 35 feet above the ground. A giant metallic trapezoid. It has welded on it 2 mechanical arms that appear to be holding some kind of like magic orbs at the end of them. And from the bottom of the trapezoid, light starts to come out, and a projection appears. And the projection that you see is a good old recording of your favorite character, Viscosity.
I dispel magic.
So you go to cast Dispel Magic, and one of the rods lights up, and the spell fails.
Okay, sure.
It has counter spells on it. Gross.
And a recording begins to play of Viscosity. He says, he kind of looks mad, and he's like, "You guys think that you've forgotten about me, that I'm beat. I don't." And the Inquisitor keeps saying that, you guys don't even think about me anymore. Well, I'm still a threat. And he points his hand on a desk that you can't see. He says, "I dropped out because it was the smart play.
Your mic is off.
5 steps ahead of you
Your
all."
mic is off. I can't hear you.
It's a recording. He can't hear you.
Damn.
It's like
honestly, I kind of wish I didn't make it a recording, because that would have been really funny. I just want to make sure, but I did say that it was a recording earlier.
Okay.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like there's a kid hitting it with a stick, the hologram with the stick.
Well, it's 30. Oh yeah, but maybe like at the bottom of the hologram where he's standing. But he says,
so funny if he's
I have put all of my top people, and I have created the perfect machine to kill all of you. He says, before I tried hiring people, they were all idiots. That's why all of my plans failed. It was because the people I put in charge of it were idiots. But this is me. This is the pinnacle of military might, he says. He says, this machine here has some of the most powerful defenses. We've manufactured them to possibly be used in defense, and apparently it's too expensive, and so they won't fund it. But
Can I throw a rock at it?
for you, I'm willing to spend the money. And he's just like pointing off in like a random direction, like he's pointing like 30 feet above the ground. So you guys are all like not in the point at all. He says this thing, it's he says it's immune to radiant, fire, lightning, poison, psychic. It can't be charmed, deafened, exhausted, frightened. He says it can see through the dark. He says, and then he says it's designed so that way it has no weaknesses. You won't even be able to do any like sneak attacks to it, and it's got I even had them graft onto it specifically for you all. Counterspell and dispel magic wand. This thing is absolutely indestructible.
Hey, Tom, I'd like to cast Cone of Cold.
I was about to say, you can't count the cross damage included in that?
No, it wasn't.
So we'll count that as the surprise round. What we'll do is, because I'm going to be breaking it here, we'll start with you guys, with you firing off that Cone of Cold, and then rolling initiative.
All right.
And this is something that he'll say after the Cone of Cold, because the recording just keeps playing.
Can't wait to start combat and him still describe what this thing.
Yeah, he throughout the entire combat he will still be talking, but this is the only important part that I wanted to actually tell you guys, because he's basically lifting. Is that he grafted on the wands, and it's got magic resistance, and it absorbs lightning.
George whispers to Cinna, just like, I can't believe this Gusty brought his bargain in best.
And so next time you guys will be fighting the trapezoid.
The trapezoid.
The trapezoid.
Is it just like...
So, like, if we got a surprise round, right, just before... we got a surprise?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah, because the machine was programmed not to start attacking unless it was attacked or viscosity finishes its speech.
Okay, cool. I want to cast jump on myself.
Okay, yeah. Well, this will be next time, so remember it all for next time.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna break on truly the most fearsome boss I've ever thrown at you guys.
Hey, quick question: is it is it like a metal trapezoid?
Yeah, it looks metallic.
Okay, so it's 4 sheets of sheet metal.
Well, no, it's 6.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
6 sheets.
Yeah.
Yep. 6 sheets of sheet metal.
And then with 2 mechanical arms grafted onto it.
And it has 2 wands that it's holding up, like a fork and knife.
Both of them dispel magic and counterspell.
No, one of them dispels magic, the other counterspells.
Okay, cool.
And then it's got like a ton of resistances because it's just a metal cube.
Cool.
And you made it a trapezoid.
Yes.
I can't wait.
We're rhombuses.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I was thinking about making it a rhombus. I was going. You guys have no idea how much time I spent thinking about what shape to make it.
That was the hardest process.
It really was. It really was.
So technically, it's not really a trapezoid. It's like a trapezoid prism.
Yeah. It's a trapezoidal prism, but the boss's name is the trapezoid.
Lunu, watch out! It's isosceles trapezoid.
Wait, is this a pun? Because it's like, aha, it's like trying to like entrap and kill us, and it's a shape, or it's like a robot. So it's like.
I don't think he thought that far.
No. The funny thing is that I did, and I won't tell you the reference now. But once we're done, I'll tell you guys the reference.
Why it's a trap? Oh no!
It's so funny, guys.
You don't know how much I want to make like some highly detailed art of trapezoid, but it goes against the spirit of what trapezoid is, so I will not do that.
Honestly, you should. I'll use both.
I don't know. No, it needs to be.
Wait, hear me out.
I thought about messaging you, like the description, and asking you to draw something.
I would have made it look way too cool. No.
I was like, but what if I just Googled a picture of a trapezoid?
Wait, I have
like a dolly trapezoid.
Connor, what if you drew it with your non-dominant hand?
No, it's still like, yeah, it would be my non-dominant hand, but I would still be using the line tool.
Damn it.
Well, all right, guys, let's do some plugs.
I'm Boosh/Connar/Lunu and not a trapezoid. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, Boosh at Conjoined Artist. Twitter as fucking Conda Artist. So laughing at the trapezoid. You join the Discord. We do Conjoin Cast. It's a lot of fun. Anyone can join in on those, as well as October's going to be here in about a few months, and you'll be able to participate. These won't be streamed, but we're going to be doing movie nights. So, stay tuned for those. Gonna pass this over to Austin. Oh yeah, subscribe, YouTube, join Discord.
This is Austin. You can find me on @Octo_Oz, but get this, we're probably hunters doing another Fabula game together with me as the host of GM. I don't know if it'll be streamed or not. We'll find out. Anyway, Tasura.
Yeah, hi, I'm Tasura. I'm a person. I can't talk right now. I'm being surrounded by oblate spheroids. Steven.
Yes, it was I, Blair Audina, resident rhombus enjoyer.
Someone screenshot this.
What, this horrific...
Yes. I need this specific screen to live on forever. Anyway, continue.
I'm trying to. Give me 1 second.
Don't worry, I'll get it. Don't you worry, buddy.
Okay.
Anyways, while I'm screenshotting this, you can find me at Venty179 on YouTube and Twitch. Here's the screenshot. Enjoy. Then you can... It just looks like the craziest boss battle ever, but it's just the trapezoid, which makes it significantly funnier.
Tasura did.
So besides that, you can find me on OneVenty79 on Twitter, and I'm currently hope scrolling for the first time in my entire life.
Hope scrolling?
To date, this episode is July 22nd, and if you realize what happened the day before, that is why I've been hope scrolling. Anyways, Tom.
So, my plug for today is that flat Earth theory gone, donut-shaped Earth in.
Hell yeah, brother.
Where are my
What
Taurus
flavor is
lovers at? Where are my Taurus lovers at?
What flavor of donut is it?
Earth.
It tastes like dirt.
It's Earth, but it's just in the shape of a donut.
Why does it sound very flavorful?
Good night, everybody.
It has all of the flavors.
Good night, everybody.